Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at something that honestly sounds like it was pulled straight out of a science fiction novel, but it's actually a completely grounded, rapidly emerging scientific reality. We're talking about unseen physical forces, specifically magnetic fields, and how they might just be the secret weapon we need to solve some of our absolute biggest global agricultural crises.
Okay, let's dive into this. The reality of modern farming is incredibly high stakes, right? We're constantly battling the elements to secure the global food supply. And right now, farmers all around the world are facing this relentless, creep-in threat that is literally choking the life out of crops before they even get a chance to grow. To really understand the hero of our explainer today, we first have to understand the villain.
And that villain is soil salinity. Let's look at this number, 8,000 parts per million. To put that massive number into perspective, at this concentration, it is highly toxic. A normal, unprimed seed placed in the soil struggles to even survive, let alone thrive. It's just an incredibly harsh, unforgiving environment.
Section 1. The threat of salinity.
So what is the actual threat here? Well, here's what happens right under the surface. When a seed is planted, obviously it needs water to wake up and start growing. But when the soil is packed with salt, it generates what scientists call an external osmotic potential. Essentially, the salt holds onto the moisture so tightly that the germinating seed is totally starved of the water it desperately needs. And on top of that, the sodium and chloride ions from the salt actually invade the plant cells, causing severe cell toxicity.
All of this creates a condition known as osmotic stress. It's a severe water deficit paired with a really dangerous nutrient imbalance because the plant can no longer uptake vital elements like potassium and calcium. For early plant development, this stress is effectively a death sentence. But, this is exactly where our sci-fi sounding, yet very real, solution comes into play.
Section 2. Magnetopriming explained. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we shift focus from the macro problem down to the microscopic mechanism of the solution.
And this brings us to a process called magnetopriming. It's a completely non-invasive treatment applied to dry seeds before they're even planted. By passing the seeds, or the solutions they're soaked in, through a static magnetic field, we can essentially equip them with a microscopic shield. We're enhancing their vigor and readying them to fight off salt toxicity before they even touch the dirt.
To understand how this works, we actually need to look at water itself. Normal water isn't just single floating molecules. They group together in these chaotic, bulky, loosely attracted clusters. Think of it like a huge, disorganized crowd trying to shove their way through the narrow doors of a plant cell. In all that chaos, toxins and pollutants get trapped and dragged inside. But when water passes through a magnetic field, it restructures. It forms neat, uniform, 6-molecule hexagonal clusters. It becomes this highly organized, single-file line that slips effortlessly right through those cellular passageways, leaving the bulky toxins behind.
Section 3. The barley breakthrough. To prove this isn't just theory, researchers ran a dramatic real-world test on barley in harsh Egyptian field conditions. And this brilliantly illustrates the results. Guide your eyes down the rows here. On the far left, you see the unprimed control seeds. As you move down the column to that toxic 8,000 ppm level at the very bottom, the unprimed seedlings are just sad, stunted, and struggling. But look at the columns on the right. These are the magnetoprime seeds. Even at 8,000 ppm, they are lush, green, and visibly thriving. I mean, the difference is literally night and day.
The data absolutely backs up the visuals here with some dramatic victories over our villain. Researchers looked at the germination index, which is a measure of not just how many seeds sprout, but how fast and vigorously they do it. Just using magnetic water alone increased the index by nearly 28% over the control. But when they combined magnetopriming with specific amino acids, the results just exploded. Priming with arginine boosted it by about 88%, and combining magnetism with the amino acid proline, that more than doubled the speed and vigor of germination, coming in at a massive 107.7% increase.
So how is this even possible? Well, the magnetic treatment is basically giving the plant's cellular defenses a massive upgrade. It essentially memorizes the cell against damage. It significantly boosts the production of specific antioxidant enzymes like POD, PPO, and CHIA, which act like a dedicated cleanup crew, scavenging the harmful reactive oxygen species, which is essentially toxic cellular debris caused by salt stress. This maintains the integrity of the cell membrane and vastly enhances the seed's ability to absorb that reorganized hexagonal moisture.
And the benefits don't stop at germination. Magnetopriming with proline resulted in a nearly 51% maximum increase in seedling shoot length. This proves that the treatment gives the plant a durable, long-lasting biological advantage that carries it well beyond just that initial seed phase.
Section 4. Magnetic Water Treatment.
So, we've seen what magnets can do for the seed, but what about the infrastructure? Let's move to and see how this builds a better agricultural system overall. When regular irrigation water is used, calcium carbonate precipitates out and forms this hard, crusty scale on the inside of pipes, eventually clogging them completely. But with magnetic water treatment, or MWT, the water passes through a powerful magnet. This simple physical change forces the calcium carbonate to form suspended particles in the water rather than hard crystals on the walls. The particles just flow harmlessly right out the end of the pipe.
By simply preventing that mineralized scale coating inside the irrigation systems, MWT allows pumps and pipes to operate at absolute peak efficiency. This alone can reduce overall water consumption on a farm by up to a staggering 30%. In a world facing severe droughts and water scarcity, that number is a complete game changer.
And when that magnetic water actually hits the dirt, it actively rehabilitates the ecosystem. It's incredibly efficient at leaching excess soluble salts away from the root zone. It lowers the alkaline pH of the soil. It dissolves stubborn, slightly soluble carbonates. And most importantly for the farmer, it unlocks the soil, enhancing the extraction and uptake of vital fertilizers like phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen.
Section 5. A sustainable magnetic future.
When we combine these micro and macro benefits, the real-world impacts are incredibly promising. Just look at these specific field successes across a variety of everyday vegetables. By irrigating with magnetically treated water, farmers saw a 12% yield increase in celery, and that was even when using recycled water. Snow peas saw a 7.8% boost in final pod yield. Tomatoes demonstrated significantly enhanced nutrient absorption directly resulting from those reorganized water clusters we talked about.
So the crucial point is this. We're currently spending absolute fortunes dumping harsh chemical treatments into our environment to fight soil salinity and descale our pipes. Magnetic water treatment offers a safe, environmentally friendly, and remarkably low-cost alternative. We're achieving these massive gains in food security and crop viability using nothing but the fundamental physical forces of the universe.
It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? We've spent so long trying to chemically engineer our way out of agricultural problems. But as this explainer has shown, sometimes the most powerful solutions are completely invisible. If a simple magnetic field can unclog our infrastructure, shield our seeds from toxic salt, and boost global food yields, it begs the question, what other unseen natural forces are we completely ignoring? Thank you so much for joining me, and keep questioning the world around you.